Well, we entered the scene. My wife and I are academics, and academics, we are infamous for saying yes to things because there's this thing called tenure, where you have to do things in order for them to give you tenure, and that's not the only reason why we're doing it. Of course, we're both super Robert E. Howard fans, and it's an honor to be the editors. But we have very much a strong incentive to regularize publication of this thing, raise its reputation as an academic publication. We're going to index it in what's called the Modern Language Association. We're looking into that process, establishing a rigorous peer review. But also, we don't want it to be so academic that only professors are publishing in it, because I think that goes against the spirit of the pulp magazine. It goes against the spirit of this robust fan culture that has, really, they are responsible for what's been happening. We've just showed up, so we're happy to that the conditions were set for us to show up and do this thing. But maybe I'll turn it over to Nicole, and we won't talk because you guys want to hear from the other two guys. But what do you have to say about The Dark Man?
Well, I don't want to break the microphone. There we go. So we plan to publish twice a year. This is the first issue that we got out. We are currently accepting submissions, and articles can be probably anywhere from like 3,000 to 5,000 words. We're also interested in getting reviews. We're happy to do interview submissions as well. We're also trying to establish some different sections that are new to the journal and the publication. So we are seeking what we're calling emerging voices, and right now we have 2 articles from undergraduate students who have written about either Howard or other pulp writers. So we have one on Howard and we have one on Lovecraft in this particular issue. So we're very interested in just new voices. We want to make it accessible as far as reading for anybody, so you definitely do not have to be an academic to pick this up and enjoy it. But like Jason was saying, we want to raise the reputation of the journal, so we want to publish quality things that are saying, intelligent, smart things, new readings of Howard or other pulp writers, or just the larger pulp studies field that has been emerging now for several years. We're also going to start a website. So that should be up and running hopefully by the end of the summer. And one of the things that I've been suggesting, and I'm not quite sure how it would play out in real life, would be to have a blog component where we might have guest bloggers. I was thinking in the immediate future, it could be a student intern that we have would try to blog sort of semi-regularly, but we would be open to, again, very well-written but more informal pieces for our blog, just to extend the conversation of the different people who are involved in this and related communities. So that would be, I think, our main goal, is just to engage as many people as possible to get new perspectives and viewpoints on Howard and the other writers of this time period and the larger pulp publications that he was writing and publishing in. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, one final thing. There's been a slight change to the title. It used to be The Dark Man, the Journal of Robert E. Howard Studies, and now it's The Dark Man, the Journal of Robert E. Howard and Pulp Studies. And I just want to say it's conventional now for single author academic journals to publish wider than just works that treat the authors. So there will always be, the majority of the articles will be about Robert E. Howard, right? But you might see that there's some Lovecraft, there's some Clark Ashton Smith, there's a article about adventure pulp, or the something more historical about the pulp magazine in general. And then also just so you guys know, there's this thing in literary studies called high theory, right? We all love that. No, we don't. We don't like that, and there's actually a large group of literary studies academics who think that the kind of really like compressed, alienating prose style is just passé and horrible, and it's just bad. So if you're going to write your Derridean deconstructionist analysis of the lack of signification in the Tower of the Elephant, send it somewhere else, right? So I just wanted to let you guys know where we're coming from.
One more thing, and then we'll pass it to the other panelists. If you have never published before, but you're interested in seeking publication, please come and talk to us. We're very happy to help people go through the revision process. We can give feedback, and we do have a peer review panel, so anything that does get submitted will be sent out for peer review, which will receive feedback. And I think we're hoping, well, I would hope to eventually go to what's called an open peer review process rather than a blind peer review process where you actually know who is reading your things and giving you that feedback. Because again, the whole purpose of any type of publication, in my view, is to have conversations and to extend conversational opportunities among a variety of different individuals.
Yeah, and if you don't know what MLA format is, don't let that don't let your lack of MLA format make it so that you don't submit your awesome essay, right? We'll work with you on that. Be happy to. So, thank you. Please consider. Oh yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Do you have like a subscription service, or for the paper one, or is there going to be an online presence?
Well, you can get it on Amazon right now. We're using the print on demand feature, but we need to figure something else out. I should say this is not a for-profit endeavor. It's actually going to be housed at Christopher Newport University, where we teach. We're formalizing that relationship. We do need to figure something out. Just so you know, if you buy a Darkman, I'm not using that to go buy coffee. It's going back into the magazine. It's paying for internships we're going to put into the website. I mean, and stay tuned. We're actually actively looking for associations for publishing, maybe in a university press, so that this kind of amorphous area is a little bit more,
And is there a website where? I'm sorry, you answered the question.
No, yeah. We're working on the website. Yeah. MLA is both a style guide and citation conventions. MLA will say things like, if you get the 8th edition of MLA, there are style, they're more, for us, they're more suggestions, and they get really nuanced in their suggestions, like how to actually format typographical things. Don't worry about that. I mean,
Yeah, I'd say the best thing you can do is just to read the most recent issue that came out that we edited. Everything in there is definitely stylistically in line with what we would like to publish. But we're also, I think we're open to hearing kind of, again, a wider range of writing styles and approaches too. So yeah, just send us what you have. Yeah.
What extent have y'all considered an online version as well?
can I field that?
Yes.
So, I mean, a lot of this is, the Darkman is going to be appealing to a wide audience, and a lot of people are collectors. A lot of people value the artifact, and so there will always be a print version, at least as far as we're in control of it. But academic journals are slowly but surely becoming open source, digital, and we're looking into that. I don't know. The worst case scenario would be if we did that and it's no longer interesting to the people who like the print artifact. So it might be print for a while, as we're feeling things out. I personally, I'm kind of a throwback. I want the artifact. I still want the print copy, but she doesn't.
But I'm not. So this is why we work out really well as a married academic couple. So I would like to eventually see future issues, and depending on the copyright issues we have with previous, I'd like more of it to be open access. And again, we're exploring our options here. The first step would be just to get the website presence up. That's why I'm imagining a blog would be kind of that intermediary step, just to get more readers. Like, we're just really wanting more readers, more engagement with a variety of different publics and audiences right now.
And as regards copyright, anything you submit to the Darkman, there's a standard kind of what is it called?
Creative Commons?
There's a standard contract that we'll give you, and basically it says that we don't own your essay. We're publishing it, and then if maybe somebody does an anthology, maybe you want to expand it into a book, it's your language, right? But we're just publishing it. So don't think that if you submit an article to the Darkman that like you're giving it to us. You're not. You're having it published. It's different. So. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go next. I think I've talked to almost everybody in this room at least once already in the last couple of days, and thank thanks to all of you for coming by, checking out the books, and for a lot of you for buying books. I think this has been the highest sales weekend we've ever had. And I'm not. You know, we try to make sure the money goes to good uses. We donate another $1,000 to Project Pride yesterday, another $1,000 scholarship. One of the little projects we'd been working on was obtaining a photograph of Bob that the Tysons had, and that got accomplished today. We've been working on that for a while. That photograph is being donated to the Howard House, so the original will be there. So that's another one brought home. So that's a good thing. So
Explain the photo.
if I would, that's 3 people, black and white. Bob, Lindsay, and I don't know who the third one is.
Smith. Clyde Smith.
Clyde Smith, yeah, just standing there together.
It's a photo. You'll see it at the house eventually. It's a photo, and Howard has a sword in his hand, not looking unlike the iconic Rosetta image. And he looks a little different in it, but it's definitely about Howard. So
Yeah.
you'll have to check it out.
Yeah, but that's a nice thing to get done. We, you know, Rob and Patrice both put a lot of time into tracking down everything. It's always interesting to see what they turn up. They're very consistent at that, and they do really good work. On the publishing side, as a lot of you heard when you came by and visited, the last book is out, Post Oaks and Sand Roughs and Other Autobiographical Writings. That's book number 22 from the Foundation in a 10-year span. That is everything. So all of Howard is in publication. Between Delray has first 10 or 12 volumes. We have all the rest of it. It's every known scrap of Howard has been published now. Obviously, the next step is, and for those that haven't, you know, don't know about the press and what our books are about and how we do this stuff, you can come find me later and I'll tell you the story for 20 minutes. It'll be a great story, though. Everyone keeps to know when we're going to do our second editions, because the letters have been sold out forever, the poetry, Spicy Adventures, Steve Harrison's casebook, and Weird Menace all sold out a year or two ago. All of those are in the midst of having their second editions prepared. We've got the deal cut with Cabinet. We've got a new artist lined up, Mark Wheatley, who's going to be our lead guy, setting up the design and making sure all the art gets done for the covers, making a standardized set out of everything. They're going to be done as print on demand, almost certainly trade paperback only, although we're also going to have a conversation to see if we can do ebooks, because I think a lot of people would like to be able to get them on their Kindle, and we're going to work on that too. The letters are almost ready. The first 2 volumes are done. Third volume's almost done. I've been doing the poetry. It's down to I have to generate table of contents and crisscross lists, and there's only 800 poems, so that won't take too long. And Rob is working on the other volumes, and they don't have a lot of changes to make. So, you know, it's either new things we found between the time the book was published and the time we finished going through the typescripts, or we found a typescript where we didn't think we had one before, and we used the published version before. We'll go back to the typescript version. So there may be some small changes in some of these. The poetry book's going to have the drafts, draft poems. There are about 20 new poems that emerged since the first book was published. For those that like to buy our books, we had at Windy City back in April, they had a copy of Collected Poetry went up for auction. It sold for $1,000. There were also, we were there selling our books. There were 3 other dealers there selling our books for triple the price. And when you think about something like Arkham House, limited editions, nice quality, control, you know, the only source for certain things, that's what happens. You know, so I'm not saying, I'm just saying, don't be surprised. And I think that's all the excitement I have. Is anybody have any questions for us?
The new poetry and the new letters, will they be paperback, not hardcover?
That's correct. And the poetry, I may break it into 3. It's over 800 pages. And so, I've reshuffled the sorting of it in what I think is a better way to present it. And so it would break real cleanly into 3 volumes. And so we may do that, just to make it a little more, do it a little piece at a time. But we'll see how it goes. Anything else? Oh, yeah.
What's the time frame you said?
You know, that as is always, as is typically the case in these things, getting the books ready isn't the challenge, it's getting the art ready. And so I've already talked to Mark, and we're in agreement on some things. We've covered most of the basic contents of the deal. I got to draft the deal up and send it over to him. And then he's got to start picking the time and where we're going to start and get the format. The first one's going to be the one that takes a while because he's got to get the formatting because they're all going to be done in a uniform fashion. So he's got to get the formatting figured out and then start doing the artwork. So I'm thinking if life is good, one will be done before the end of the year. Once the first one falls, the others will just depend on how fast the artwork's prepared. And I imagine we'll try to do letters and poetry first. Those are the ones most being sought after, so we'll try to get those punched out. But hopefully, certainly by next Howard Days, I would hope to have at least 2 and maybe 4 volumes ready to go, and then the others we'll just fill them in as we can. We've got 3 or 4 other volumes that are almost sold out. They're down to the last 10 or so, and when those sell out, we'll start prepping those up as well. So maybe later this year, maybe by Howard Days next year. It's how Mark has a real job, and so it's when he can work it in. So anything else? No, it's easy.
No. One.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Michael. I have been defeated by the laptop, so unfortunately I don't have trailers. But at the barbecue later, if I can find a more sympathetic machine, I would be happy to share them with you guys. 2019 has been a really good year for Cabinet and Conan and Howard. In late 2018, we had the full release of Conan Exiles, which is a survival game that's available on all major consoles, banning the Switch. It has a player base in the millions and has been consistently played since its full release. Starting in January, we had a new line of comic books being published by Marvel Comics, including a new Conan the Barbarian, Volume 2, Number 1, a Savage Sword of Conan, and the new edition is Age of Conan, the first one being about the origins of Belit, the Queen of the Black Coast. After that one wraps up, we will be moving on to Valeria for the Age of Conan book. What is very fun about those is in both of those arcs, we have all-female creative teams, from art to writing to inks. And actually, Nicole has a very good article about identity in the latest volume of Dark Man. So you guys should definitely read that. Beyond that, and this will make some of you twitch your eyes and the vessels come out of your head, Conan has joined the Avengers. He's been brought into the mainstream Marvel universe, and before you get your pitchforks, I want to let you know that it's been a great window for a lot of the Cape and Cowl fans to see one of the original heroes of American fiction. And he's been fitting in without missing a beat. We've gotten a lot of good responses on it, and I hope that it will bring new eyes and new readers to the original and only canon Howard stories. Beyond that, Cabinet has also started 2 new brands, both under the Perilous Worlds banner. The first being Perilous Worlds Games, which is a focus of board games that we want to self-publish instead of licensing them out. We figured that the properties that we are the stewards of are important enough that we don't trust anyone else but ourselves. One of the games that was just recently announced at the London Games Expo in the past couple weeks was a retelling of Robert E. Howard's The Tower of the Elephant. And it is using the Room 17 game system, which is rather fun. It's much like a Russian nesting doll in that the entire game is in a series of boxes. And so you put together your dungeon and do a dungeon crawl just with the boxes that fit into smaller and smaller little corridors, and you can attach them with doors and whatnot. Of course, needing to be different, instead of going down into a dungeon, we wanted to go up into a tower. So as you hear about this fabled treasure in the tavern and eventually meet Taurus, you flip the box over and it gets higher and higher and higher until you're confronting the wizard and trying to destroy the heart of the elephant. The other one that we have announced is called Serpent's Bluff, which is a Hyborian Age gambling game. It's very similar to, say, a blackjack. But what's fun about it is in an upcoming arc in Savage Sword of Conan for Marvel, titled actually Conan the Gambler, he finds himself in a gambling den, and so they needed to come up with an era-appropriate, not age-appropriate, it's Conan, an era-appropriate game And so we thought we'd make one, and hopefully we can all play it now in the 21st century. Other than that, we have also announced Perilous Worlds books, which our flagship going out the gate right away is Conan and the Living Plague, written by John Hocking, which is a sequel to his Conan and the Black Lotus novel from years ago. Let me see. Beyond that, Conan.com is live now. It's not just a blank page with a name on it. There will be news updates. There's a newsletter. You can sign up with your email and get updates about all the stuff that we're releasing and our partners are releasing. Let me think. Beyond that, we're also announcing Perilous Worlds merchandise. So you won't have to go to Etsy to get your Conan and Solomon Kane t-shirts, socks, pennants, all of that, phone cases. Whatever, really. Let me think. I don't have my crutch here, so. Oh, TV and movies. I do not want to be stabbed in the back and have it be ruled a suicide, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut as far as development on that. I can just tell you that we are working very hard to make sure that a version of the characters you guys all love will be as familiar as possible, and we are doing everything we can to bring it in as many media forms as we can. So let me think. Are there any questions that I can field?
Does that character, does his name begin with a C and end with an M?
Mayhaps. Yes, sir.
Does that let us believe then that the talk last year of the Netflix Conan is gone?
Last year it was Amazon, and unfortunately they decided to spend $1 billion on a Tolkien property, and they are not looking to have competition within their own house. But we are talking to as many people as we can, and
So it could be in the worst Disney in their usual tight mouth way wouldn't let us know until the premium channel launches.
You found me out. Yes, we are looking at every avenue we can. However, anything else? All right. Well, I just want to say this is my first Robert E. Howard Days, and it's been a real wonderful thing. I'm looking very much forward to the years after this, and I hope I don't outstay my welcome. So thank you very much.